A scene from the Battle of Algiers, one of the most influential political films in history. It was released in 1966 by Italian filmmaker Gillo Pontecorvo. In 2003, the film again made news after the Pentagon offered a screening just months after the U.S. declared war against Iraq officially over. A flyer for the screening stated the following: "How to win a battle against terrorism and lose the war of ideas. Children shoot soldiers at point-blank range. Women plant bombs in cafes. Soon the entire Arab population builds to a mad fervor." Sound familiar? The French have a plan. It succeeds tactically but fails strategically. To understand why, come to a rare showing of this film, said the Pentagon poster. Ambassador Brahimi, your response?
Yeah, what can I tell you? That was definitely one of the best films in history of cinema, I think. A lot of the people who played in that film were playing their own role in life. It is true, I think, what Ben Mehdi said. When you are in a kind of asymmetric war that we were engaged in, you use methods that, if you look at it from outside, are reprehensible. So, this is a fact of life. Yes, there were, friends of ours, fellow students, women, 2 or 3 of them are still around, who transported bombs in their handbags in those days. The French won the Battle of Algiers, but they lost the war. That is true, and that is, again, I think, as was said in the film, this is history. Ben Mehdi, by the way, was assassinated by the French, and until very recently they were still claiming that he committed suicide. But then one man who died not long ago, who was a captain in the French army then, said, "I have strangled him with my own hands." So, when you are engaged in these terrible conflicts, a lot of things happen that are better if they didn't. But we were occupied for 132 years, 132 years. And occupation has been absolutely terrible. We were dispossessed. First of all, the war of invasion, the invasion when they came in 1830, from 1830 to was absolutely savage. They have burned villages, they have put people in caves and burned them out, and so that was much worse than the bombs were planted in cafes in the 50s and the 60s. And then they dispossessed a whole nation. Practically every piece of good land was taken away from Algerians and given to colonists. We had 1 million French colonists there. They owned maybe 80% of the good land in Algeria. So colonialism was very, 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 very inhuman. Much more inhuman than those bombs in the bags of some of our fellow students in those days. Yeah, but that is over. Where are we now? That's another story.
The fact that Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld was using this as an example of the lessons the U.S. should learn in dealing with Iraq? A friend of mine who made some films about this, when he heard that Mr. Rumsfeld was showing the Battle of Algiers, he said, please, somebody tell him how the story ended. The Battle of Algiers was won by the French, but the war was lost. So I don't know what they wanted to, what is it that they wanted to teach their soldiers. But the lesson I think that everybody has drawn from the Battle of Algiers is that the people who fought on the Algerian side, the people who fought that war, lost the battle, but they won the war. Longtime Algerian diplomat Lakhdar Brahimi speaking to us from Paris, France. He resigned his post in May as the United Nations Arab League Special Envoy for Syria. That does it for our broadcast. If you'd